What up? What's good, people? For those out there who are watching, and for those who aren't watching, I hope you are doing well. I hope you are out there doing good. I hope you're out there doing the best that you can, as best as you can, especially given the days and times that we're in. A lot of craziness out there, a lot of foolishness out there, a lot of bullshit out there. And I know it's hard to wrap your head around it sometimes because you turn on the news and it's always something. Something's always happening. It seems like there's just so much negativity going on in the world today. Of course, there's the positivity, but there's a lot of negativity, especially when you turn on the news or when you go on social media. There's just a lot of BS out there. A lot of BS is going on right now. But that's the crazy world that we live in. Anyway, I'm going to get right into it. I'm just going to say that Ketanji Brown Jackson becoming the first black female Supreme Court justice is not black girl magic. Just like Kamala Harris being the first female vice president, and she's a black female, but the first female vice president, just like her being the vice president of the United States of America, is not black girl magic. I'll say it again. Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris are not black girl magic. Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris do not represent black girl magic. There, I said it. And I'm gonna unpack it a little bit more, so just bear with me, and I'm gonna get right into it. Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris are really just token Negroes for the establishment. Now, I understand that what I just said is not original. It's most likely regurgitated. Obviously, it's been said before by other individuals. So, what I'm saying, what I've said, and what I'm about to say, it's not original. But I'm doing this video to give my perspective. So my perspective is going to sound different from other people's perspective in regards to Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris. Their victories are their victories. They succeeded as individuals and attained success for themselves. Their success in life is not a win for black women as a collective. I'm not going to use this to go into any numbers because anybody could look up those numbers for themselves. There's tons of articles that highlight the data, that highlight the stats. In that regard, Google goes a long way. But this video right here isn't for the purposes of putting black women down. That's not what I'm trying to do. If anything, I'm trying to build black women up. So I just want to make it loud and clear that this is not for the purposes of bringing black women down. The purpose of me bringing up Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris is not to denigrate black women. I'm bringing up those two individuals in particular to shed some light on the reality of black women. It's one thing to acknowledge the success of a black woman, but see, that's the thing. It's a black woman. In other words, it's one black woman. It's one black woman's success that is being acknowledged. But that one black woman, or two or three black women's success doesn't account for black women as a collective. Ketanji Brown Jackson's success is just that. Ketanji Brown Jackson's success. Oftentimes in the black community, and I'm gonna just be real when I say this, but oftentimes in the black community, there is an element of token Negroism. And really, not even an element of it. It's just outright token Negroism. And when I say token Negroism, I'm talking about the excitement that some black people have for an individual black person's success. Unfortunately, some black people are ready to jump up and down and get excited when there's a black person who attains success of some kind. They get excited over that individual's success as if that is the success of the collective. Basically, there are black people out there who love symbolism. There are black people out there who love to see a black person in a token position. There are black people out there who love to see a token Negro. I'm gonna just call it the cult of token Negroism. There are black people out there who love to see the first black this, the first black that, the first black person to ride a bike, the first black person to drive, the first black person to skydive, the first black person who listens to country, the first black person who works for a white company. There's this excitement for the first black. The first black this, the first black that, the first black. I personally think we need to get off that BS. Now, I'm not saying we can't congratulate an individual black person on the success they have attained, but to adopt that individual's success as your own success is not only childish, but it's a form of escapism. That same form of escapism is the reason why white liberals infantilize black people. And white liberals understand this. That's why they know they don't have to deliver anything of any substance to black people. White liberals have mastered the art of placating black people through the use of symbolic gestures. They know that black people love symbolism. So they're just like, well, we don't have to give them anything. We don't have to give them anything of substance. We don't have to give them anything tangible. We don't have to give them anything that's measurable. Now, all we got to do is give them something symbolic. Because that's what these niggas like. Symbolism. These Negroes like symbolism. So let's give them symbolism. We won't do anything for them specifically like we do with other groups. We'll listen to their complaints. We'll interact with them. We'll tolerate them. But as far as doing something, oh no, we can't do anything. We're just going to sit and listen and then make excuses about what we can't do, but we'll give them symbolism so that they could feel that we acknowledge them, so that they could feel that we acknowledge their existence. That's pretty much the white liberals get down. We're at a point where more and more black people are realizing that the Democrats don't provide tangibles to black people the way that they do for other groups. See, when it comes to Asians, They didn't get symbolism when they got a hate crime bill specifically for Asians. Let's look at what happened in Buffalo, New York, where 13 people got shot, 3 people injured, 10 people dead. And those 10 people were black people. So with all of that in mind, will there be a hate crime bill specifically for black people? That's a rhetorical question, by the way, because I already know the answer to that. See, when it comes to doing something specifically for black people, the Democrats ain't about that life. They'll pander to black people and they'll infantilize black people all day in order to get the black vote. Now, once they get the black vote, they're out the back door. They're outie like an 8-6. They're real good magicians because at that point in time, they really know magic because they know how to disappear. At worst, black people get nothing from the Democrats. And at best, black people will get symbolic gestures and or the scraps that's left from any minority or people of color initiatives. All right, so let's go back to Ketanji Brown Jackson. How exactly is her becoming a Supreme Court justice a win for black people? And in this case, how is it a win for black women? I'm all ears. When Clarence Thomas became a Supreme Court justice, was that a win for black men? Just asking for a friend. We also have to look at how wicked the system of racism, white supremacy is. We gotta look at the wickedness of it. Joe Biden and the left-wing establishment chose black women to be their token Negroes to appease black women. Not only that, but when you look a little further, the black women that they chose as their token Negroes are black women with white spouses. In regards to the whole Supreme Court justice thing, when they were in the process of choosing who the Supreme Court justice would be, they already knew it was going to be a black woman. It was really a matter of which black woman. And the black women who were the nominees were black women who had white significant others or were just single. Now, of course, I can't say that this is an absolute fact because I wasn't in the room when any of this stuff took place. I wasn't in the room when decisions were made. But we got to know that when you add 2 and 2, you're going to come up with 4. Because 2 plus 2 equals 4. Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States of America, has a white husband. Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black female Supreme Court justice, has a white husband. And for the record, I'm not here to give my personal opinion on interracial marriage, because who people decide to spend the rest of their lives with is none of my business. It is blatantly obvious, at least obvious to me, and I'm sure obvious to others, that the powers that be chose black women who submit to white men in their personal lives, if those black women submit to white men in their personal lives, then it'll be easy for them to submit to the system of white supremacy. Those black women will submit to the system of white supremacy with little to no resistance. Now, again, I wasn't in the room when a lot of these decisions were made. I wasn't there. So I can't say any of this for a fact, but 2 + 2 = 4. With all of that being said, I don't see how Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris or anyone of their ilk would be considered black girl magic. Now, if black girls see Ketanji Brown Jackson and Kamala Harris and are motivated to attain success in their own lives, that's one thing. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But then it's another thing to live vicariously through those individuals and adopt their success as your own, or adopt their success as black women's success. And I'm telling my sisters this because adopting their success as your own doesn't produce any measurable results for black women as a group. You're just looking at individuals attaining individual success. And if you disagree, which is fine, all you have to do is just look up the data on black women and how they're doing in America or even globally. Look at some of these numbers. And that's not to say that all black women aren't doing well. Of course not. Of course there are black women out there who are succeeding, who are doing wonderful, who are doing great things. And that's great. But we got to look at black women as a group. When you look at these numbers, it ain't a good look. I'm talking in terms of debt, income, marriage, whatever. It ain't a good look. Just being real with y'all. Overall, I want to see black women succeed. I want to see black women do great. But at the same time, I don't want to see black women play themselves. I don't want to see black women play themselves with these delusional thoughts and childish ideas of black girl magic. There's nothing wrong with black girl magic in and of itself. There's nothing wrong with black girl magic as a concept. But see, when that concept is something of delusion and childishness, that ain't it. That's not it. And I'm gonna get brutally honest, as if I haven't already, but I'm gonna get brutally honest when I say this, but there are some black women out there who see black women like a Ketanji Brown Jackson or like a Kamala Harris with white men, and they want white men. They want a white man. All of a sudden, they want a white man. And I already know that even before those two came on the scene, there were some black women out there who had dreams of getting a white man. But in this current state where we have the token Negro women, the black women who see that and see these women with white men, they start wishing that they can get a white man. The same way that a black man thinking that a white woman is a symbol of success for himself is the same way that a black woman sees a white man as a symbol of success for herself. And to contradict myself a little bit, I think that people should marry whoever they want to marry. Like I've said before, who people marry, that's none of my business. I'm not here to control people's personal lives. I'm not here to dictate to people who they should or shouldn't get married to. But when it comes to interracial marriage, people see the beauty of it, but there's also an ugliness to it as well. We can't talk about the beauty of interracial marriage and not acknowledge the ugliness of interracial marriage. There's a yin and a yang to everything. A coin has two sides. It's two sides to the coin. There's beauty, there's ugliness. I think some black women suffer from a Disney effect. Yeah, Disney effect. In other words, they have been sold on an idea of a white prince. They have been sold on an idea of Prince Charming. They have been sold on the idea of white saviorism. They have been sold on the idea of white saviorism. Not only through Disney, but through religion as well. Let's be real. A lot of black people are into religion. And a lot of those same black people are into Christianity. These same black people pray to a white Jesus. And these same black people have pictures of white Jesus in their black church. They have pictures of white Jesus in their home. They have pictures of white Jesus in their wallet. And I've seen all of this for myself. So I'm not guessing. I've seen it myself. So I know that what I just said is real. Unfortunately, in the black community, black people have been brought up to worship the white man. They have been brought up to worship white people in general, but they have been brought up to worship the white man in particular. In my opinion, this is a sick mentality and we need to snap out of it. Now, I'm not saying that we have to go around hating white people. I'm not saying that at all. It's not about hating anybody. It's not about that. I'm not saying that black people need to go around hating white people. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that black people shouldn't be worshiping white people. That's what I'm saying. Black people should not be worshiping white people. White people damn sure don't worship black people. So why should black people worship white people? For what? And when I say black people shouldn't be worshiping white people, I'm talking about in every facet of life. I'm talking about from media to religion to real life. But another unfortunate thing is black people have been indoctrinated to believe that white people are better than them. I would even take it a step further and say that they were indoctrinated to believe that white people and other non-black people are better than black people. The reality is, no one is better than black people. No one is better than anyone. But no one is better than black people. I don't look at the white man or the Asian man or whichever other man and say that they're better than me. They're not better than me. So black people as a whole, we got to get out of this mentality of white people and other non-black people being better than us. No one is better than us. As Africans, we have to realize that we are the originators. Everyone else learns from us. We've been all over the globe. We've been created many inventions. We've been created civilizations. We've done it all. We've been doing it. So that's why this whole first black thing that we seem to do a lot is foolish to me. Because we've been the first. We've been those success stories. Even before success stories being documented was a thing, or really a thing at all. We've been succeeding. Of course, there's the failure. Of course, there's the L's that we took. But within our whole story, there are many successes. And I'm talking before white supremacy was even a thing. We've been had success stories. We've been had all that. We've been doing big things. When it comes to black women, of course, I'm all about black girl magic. But see, I'm about real black girl magic. Not black girl magic at the whims of white supremacy and token Negroism. Because that's faux black girl magic. Black girl magic becomes something when it's not defined by the system of white supremacy to the black masses. Black girl magic becomes something when black women succeed on their own terms. Just my thoughts on the idea of black girl magic. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kamala Harris, and the part that the system of racism plays in all of this. There's been a lot of opinions, a lot of perspectives, but I figured I would give my own. I would give my own perspective on this whole thing. These are just my thoughts. If you agree, cool. If not, cool. I'm good either way. So I'm gonna bring this to a close by letting black women know that as much as I love y'all, at the same time, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm gonna level with y'all. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you. You need to hear the truth. I'm not one of these dudes who's gonna try to sell you on lies. Because I already know in the long term, that's not doing you any good. Yeah, it might make you feel good in the short term, depending on what I say, but in the long term, it's not doing anything for you. If anything, it makes things worse. So that's my whole spiel. Take it or leave it, but it's coming from the heart. So on that note, I'm all for y'all getting it popping with black girl magic. Real black girl magic.